21-year-old by the name of Chavis Carter was the passenger of a pickup truck during a routine traffic stop in Arkansas. And the police officer who stopped them found that he had drugs. So as a result, this is protocol, they handcuffed him and put him in the back of the patrol car. But what happens next? Let's watch.
As protocol, he was handcuffed behind his back, double locked, and searched.
Handcuffed, double locked, and searched. But somehow, minutes later, police say they heard a thumping noise, turned around, and found Chavis dead, shot in the head in the back of the squad car.
Any given officer has missed something on a search, be it drugs, be it knives, be it razor blades. This instance happened to be a gun.
That's an incredible story, and part of me doesn't want to believe that the police officer or police officers involved were that stupid to claim that he was handcuffed behind his back. They searched him, didn't find a weapon, and then, oh my God, as you would say, golly gee willikers, he got shot in the head. How did that happen? Right. That's a little strange.
Yeah, and part of me doesn't want to believe that a cop will shoot a kid in the head who's handcuffed, right? And so, look, I searched for what could have possibly happened.
Right.
And maybe, and by the way, they searched him twice. Maybe they missed the gun. That's certainly possible, right? And then maybe he got it out of his pocket and was trying to shoot the handcuffs off when he shot himself in the head.
That's a possibility.
So, okay, but we're really stretching to help the cops there. Because according to his mother, the cops told her he was shot in the right temple. Now, I can see being shot in the back of the head. I don't see it being a suicide. That makes no sense. And we already have a report that he had called his girlfriend and said, I'll see you at the jail. They had no reason to believe that he was despondent, depressed, anything like that. The drugs that he was caught with were marijuana. It's the incredibly minor infraction. He had a warrant out for his arrest in Mississippi, but again, on minor drug charges, not a big deal. Nothing to kill yourself over, right? And so if it's true that he was shot in the right temple, first of all, he's left-handed. Second of all, how do you shoot yourself in the right temple when your hands are behind your back?
Exactly.
That's impossible. So if it's confirmed that it's in the right temple, no way. 1,000,000% was not him who shot him. It was definitely someone else. Now, mind you, here's the other part of the story that's very relevant. This is the account of one of the cops. He was the one who went back to the car. Now, the other cop is, it's unclear from the police report, but he appears to be closer to Chavis, okay? And so the cops that's searching the car says, I heard the thumping sound. I went towards the other cop, and we saw that he had shot himself.
That's very relevant.
Okay, so, I mean, could it have been the other cop who was closer to Chavis? Obviously, there should definitely be an investigation. They have started some investigation. They're on administrative leave for now. Now, you got to give them time to investigate, right? Because now, I don't trust the cops on the scene at all. That's why you need the investigation, because this sounds like the most questionable story you've ever heard. It reminds me, as JR pointed out earlier in the day, of the story we did from one of the Central Asian republics, where a political opponent of the president had been shot twice in the head and once in the heart, and they called it suicide. Okay, a little hard to shoot yourself twice in the head and once in the heart and have it be a suicide.
Wow.
So now, well, let's see the investigation that the cops do of themselves to see if it's a real investigation or if they're trying to cover this up.
What amazes me is if the cops are in fact guilty, right? And we don't know, there needs to be an investigation, okay? But if the cops are guilty, would they really be dumb enough to say he was handcuffed and we had searched him twice? You see what I'm saying? I feel as though if I were one of the cops that shot him, I would have said that he wasn't handcuffed. I would have made something completely different up. It just doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense.
Something went wrong. So now another person who's not buying the story, understandably so, is his mother. Let's watch her.
What do you think happened to your son?
I think they killed him. I mean, my son was suicidal.
In fact, she says he called his girlfriend while pulled over to say he would call her shortly from jail. Even more, the mother says she was told her son was shot in the right temple when she says he was left-handed. She says it just doesn't add up.
They searched him twice. I mean, I just want to know what really happened. That's all I want to know.
You know, I want to add one more thing here. This is part of our casualties in the war on drugs. Why did this whole thing start in the first place? Because he had marijuana on him.
I know.
That kid could be alive today if we didn't have this senseless, ridiculous war on drugs. What was the warrant for? Drugs. Who cares? So now a kid is dead, he got shot in the head. And you know what? This is let's assume for a second, give everybody the benefit of the doubt and say it was a terrible accident, right? But this is what happens. The more you interact with cops and they've got guns, more accidents happen. That's just reality, right? And we're having hundreds of thousands, millions of guys who are interacting with the cops because they're doing something perfectly innocent like smoking marijuana. And I say it's perfectly innocent because there's nothing that's different with marijuana and beer, and we all have beer, and we all don't get arrested by the cops and shot in the head for having a beer. So that is definitely part of the problem here.